wrapped up camp last Friday. Had an opportunity to get in here and do a few fun things. We had a freshman talent show, and in watching that talent show, a couple things became very clear to me. We have a couple freshmen that are uber talented, and we have some that probably need to keep their day job and be student athletes here at Rice and play football, and hopefully that's going to be the talent that shines through. We had an opportunity to award 5 scholarships to former walk-ons in our program, and that's always a great honor as a football coach and something that their teammates are extremely fired up about. The guys we awarded scholarships to are Lawrence Chimino, Rhett Cardwell, Dylan James, Cole Elms, and Chris Barnes. Also in that meeting, as Chuck just mentioned, we had a chance to vote for captains, and those 3 gentlemen are sitting in the 3rd row right now, and I said it to the team the other night, I think that's about the biggest honor you can have bestowed upon you by your teammates, is them seeing you as a leader and somebody that's going to represent them and somebody that they know are going to do things right and lead this program going forward. And I can tell you as a head football coach, I am very happy with the 3 individuals that were selected to be our captains for this year. And that is Sam Pierce on offense, Zach Abercrombie on defense, and Jack Fox on special teams. Then, after those good things happened, we had a chance to turn this room into a movie theater, and we watched Equalizer 2 in here, and I hope all the popcorn's picked up, but we had an awfully good time, and it's a heck of a movie. I think we all agree that we would take Denzel Washington as a teammate any day. So if he has any eligibility left, please send him my way. Really thought it was a great reward for the guys to do that on Friday, and I think it was something that was earned. I think we had an incredible camp. I think they worked incredibly hard. I think the things that we asked them to do, from competing to playing physical snap in and snap out, are things that they took pride in doing, and we are a different football team than we were at the start of spring, at the end of spring, and the start of camp, so that we're making that incremental progress that I feel like we need to. And I think if you ask them, we're about ready to hit somebody in another color jersey, so game week comes at a very good time. A couple of housekeeping notes to talk about before we answer any questions about game 1 is we did have a couple injuries, a couple guys that will require season-ending surgery. Offensive lineman Matt Terrell is a guy that's going to have an operation and will miss this season. And another guy that will miss this season is Trevor Long. And if you've been around this program, you know that he's had some battles with injuries in the past. And the really hard thing about it with Trevor right now is this will effectively end his football career. And this is a guy who's the son of a high school football coach, a guy that battled to come back. My whole time here, he was rehabbing. And then he really just had a non-contact injury, and his career's gone. And I think it's a great reminder of how precious and unpromised every rep and every play in this game are. But it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking as a coach to see him come back and work the way he did, and then to know his career's over just like that. But Trevor's still going to be around. He's going to be a great leader in the tight ends room. He's really doing a great job coaching those young bucks up and kind of teaching them some of the finer details when Coach Best is maybe working with another group at that moment. So he's going to be a great teammate and a great part of this team going forward as well. At this time, I'll happily answer any questions we have about our team or moving into game 1.
Hey, Coach. Game 1 coming up for you, first game as a head coach. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling? What's going through your gut?
Oh, I'm so excited. That's the honest answer. Is I'm so excited to be sitting in this chair and an opportunity to be a head football coach. And I think it's for a few reasons. One, it's a lifelong goal, to be quite honest with you. But number 2, there's not a group of coaches or players I'd rather enter this game with. And, it's exciting for me on a personal level, exciting for my family, but the reality is, we're just building something really cool here. And I can't wait to see all their hard work in camp show up on that field under the lights. It's something they've earned. This is an opportunity to go perform. And that's what I can't wait to see. I mean, I'm not going to play a single play. So it's all about them, and I can't wait to watch them.
Could you give a brief injury report? I guess I don't see Nashawn Ellaby, for example, on the depth chart here. What guys who don't have season-ending injuries do you expect to miss Saturday?
Yeah, the 2 that I really expect to miss right now are Nashawn, and he's practicing. He's just not back. He's not the Nashawn that I saw on film or these guys know. So we hope to have him back sooner rather than later, but I'm not sure what that date will be. And another guy that we expect is linebacker Dylan James. We expect him to miss. And D'Lo will be out as well, recovering from a surgery. He has not practiced yet.
Mike, with the location of Prairie View, not far from here, and getting a chance to play a Division I school like your FBS school, it's going to be a huge game for them, like almost maybe like the Super Bowl, if you will, not to overstate it. How do you present that kind of thought to your team?
I think for us, it's the ultimate, like, we're going to respect all and fear none. And so we're going to play our game, and I'm just telling them, like, it's going to be about us. And I'm going to say that to them 12 more times after this game this year. It's about us and what we do together and how we perform. It's not going to be about the opponent. Now, I can tell you from growing up in Tallahassee, Florida, and seeing the FAMU Rattlers right down the street and that band and the hype around it, it's going to be a good game day atmosphere. I can bet on that.
You mentioned the incremental growth you've seen with this team. Can you talk about a few specific things maybe that you've noticed a change with?
Yeah, one thing we've really done is we've introduced situations. And with smart kids that are very analytical, I think the first time we put them in and work through a situation, we don't have that success that you want to see, and we don't have the mastery. Sometimes they're overthinking it. Sometimes it's just good to work those things time and time again. And there was one example where we had a backed up period. And, as an offense, sometimes you're going to change your cadence. Sometimes you're going to have a select group of plays. And we really couldn't get out of our own way in that period. And it was like, well, glad we did that in practice, not in the game. And then we worked it again last week and the mock game on Saturday. And we performed it very well and executed. And so those are the steps you're talking about, whether it's individually, schematically, or just situational football that we're really trying to stress to these guys.
I know when we talked to you when camp started, a big thing you want to see was everybody competing for those spots. Did you see that, and were you pleased with what you saw from the guys?
Absolutely. I was pleased with how we competed literally every day. There was not like a day where you're like, man, that was just awful. Like we went out there and just kind of dialed it in. That wasn't the case. And I really think that some of our leaders, combined with some of our freshmen that don't know it any other way, this freshman class comes from great programs, and you combine that with a group of seniors that really wants to make this thing go and leaders, and it's just been fun.
Prairie View has a new head coach as well, so I don't know if you know what to expect from them. And maybe on the flip side, they don't know what to expect from you. It may make for an interesting game.
It will. I think we're probably both going to go out there and run our core concepts on offense and defense and kick it off and see how physical we can be. I assume that's going to be their mentality as well. You look at Coach Dooley and him coming from Grambling and then hiring an offensive coordinator from Arkansas Pine Bluff in a very similar system. I mean, I think we can assume that they're going to be tempo and they're going to try to throw the ball all over the yard. So I think we've got an idea of what that's going to look like. Now, defensively, yeah, it's a little different. Their defensive coordinator hasn't coached ball in a few years. And most recently, it was, I think, 2015 at Arkansas Pine Bluff. So, yeah, I mean, who knows what football he came into in the last 3 years. So we'll see. And, again, for us, it's going to be running core things that our guys can solve the issues so we can play fast and physical and let the results take care of themselves.
Mike, did you run down your quarterback situation?
Absolutely. I know the old adage that when you have two quarterbacks, you have none. I am very well aware of that, but I'm going to tell you that I don't believe that's the case right now with us. I think we've got two guys that have not separated. Neither one of us is separated the way that maybe I hoped or maybe the way I wanted it to go, and I'm just not going to force that. They're both running and executing our offense at a high level. They're getting us out of the huddle to the line of scrimmage in the right play, and they're doing a good job. And until that changes, we're going to play two quarterbacks. And I don't know what that looks like. Again, I would have loved for that to have kind of culminated a week ago. I would have been a lot more comfortable. But that's not the world we're in right now. We're in a world where they're both doing some really good things and still making a couple mistakes each practice. And we need to get those out of them and just get the production to reach a very high level. And then we'll be happy. We'll pick one and go.
Have you decided who will actually start the game?
We have not. We have not. And nor have we decided how the reps will be allocated. As good of a camp as we had, we still have 2 more work days left. Today and tomorrow and even Thursday with us putting in the red zone is going to be a big deal in terms of getting that determination at that position. But for the rest of our guys, like today and tomorrow, these are really working practices. I mean, it's not like the hay's in the barn. We are going to grind these next 2 days.
You mentioned that you're going to be playing 2 quarterbacks. What is your broader approach to that game on Saturday, I guess, in terms of balancing calling a competitive game, but then also getting some other talented guys who may not be starting some time?
You never know how the flow of a game's going to go. So what I think is my goal for Saturday is just to execute at a high level in all 3 phases. And in terms of who's on the field, it's going to be the guys that have earned that right. We're not going to just say, hey, I think everybody thinks with the redshirt rule and the ability to play 4 games and still redshirt, everybody's just going to throw their whole team out there, and that's just not it. We're going to see who's earned it, and those are the people that are going to get a chance to play.
On the quarterback situation, can you detail a little bit more? Is there anything that Sean or Jackson each individually have done really well that is making you delay the decision?
Yeah, I mean, it's like they've had their ups and down days. It's like nobody has been the consistent leader and player that we want to run this offense day in and day out, and that's the bottom line. I really believe like it was one day Sean would have an exceptional day, and then the next day it wasn't quite as good, or maybe Jackson just blew it out of the water. I mean, the thing you've got to realize is both of them have incredible arms, and I mean, I really believe Jackson has elite arm talent. He's got a howitzer for an arm. Sean's a really cool customer in and out of the huddle and the way he prepares. They're just 2 different dudes, and both of them bring some real positives, and right now we've got to get the negatives out of their game before we're going to be confident to say you are the guy that's going to lead us going forward.
What have you seen from the captains that earned them that honor?
Again, that's not something I chose. That's something their teammates did. So it's not just things that we're going to see in practice. It's not just things that us as a coaching staff will ever see. It goes back to those 6 a.m. workouts they did all summer. It goes back to spring ball. It goes back to probably things they said in the locker room to get this team going the right way. Motivational talks when they break the team down, talking about like changing this culture, changing this football team. Talked about our goals of winning championships and going to bowl games and how we have to do things to make it happen. So I don't know that there's one thing you could point to with that group, or probably one time, but it's, I've always said leadership is a marathon, not a sprint. And some of these guys in their evaluation meetings to end the spring, I said in our case it kind of has to be both. So run really fast as long as you can.
Coach, in terms of leadership, where do you think you are with the players and discipline? Where do you think this team is from where it first started to getting ready for game 1?
Yeah, making tremendous progress. We are not where we'll be in a month. I think it's the old, like, we're not where we want to be, but thank God we're not where we used to be. And with these guys' help, we're going to get it done. We're going to get it right.
Discipline and mistakes and those kinds of things. I'm not talking necessarily about mistakes, but in terms of being able to run plays in a disciplined fashion. Have you seen what you wanted to see while getting ready for game 1?
I have, and in our scrimmages, we've used a fairly limited menu on offense and on defense. We wanted to see players be able to go out there and play fast and showcase their talents so we could get the evaluation. And then this week, we're really limiting the menu on both sides of the ball and trying to hone them in on what we think it's going to take to win game 1.
Is there maybe 1 or 2 things that you're looking to see out of the team after Saturday?
Oh gosh, I feel like there's 100 things. And I don't know if I could point to 1 or 2. The things that we've done is we've done a good job recognizing predator plays. An owl is a predator, and so anytime we impose our will in practice on another man, we're going to show that in here as a team and let everybody see that somebody's doing what we want them to do in the manner with which we ask. So I guess I want to see maximum effort. I want to see us play in an efficient, disciplined way. And then I want to see some of those predators. I want to see some of those times where a hit or a block just dominates the guy across from them.